の最速をかわしただと。
Ah, the almighty anime dad. Mentors and oftentimes the strongest rivals our protagonists have. After 2 volumes of mentors showing off their power and flexing, I think that it's just right for me to feature dads this time. It's their turn to shine, and I do agree that there may be some overlaps in the terms of dad and mentor. Still, we have a whole gallery of badass anime dads, and I can't wait to shine the spotlight on them for this list. But hey, April is the start of spring in Japan, so that means sakura, picnics, and flower viewing. It also leads to May, which is when the Japanese celebrate the prized first tea harvest of the year. That's why our sponsors Sakurako and Tokyo Treat are here to bring a double header for you. Sakurako and Tokyo Treat are subscription-based services that will deliver you some of the finest and most delicious Japanese snacks. Sakurako's theme this month is matcha and mochi, while Tokyo Treat will be bringing you a Sakura picnic themed box. The 2 boxes are similar yet different, with Sakurako mainly focusing on the more traditional side of Japanese snacks, and Tokyo Treat giving you a more modern experience. The former will be giving you a fair share of exclusive tea as well as matcha-themed manju, mochi and such, with artisan chopsticks to top off the list. If you prefer modern exclusive and seasonal sweet sensations over matcha, however, perhaps the Tokyo Treat box is for you. I'm talking things like Kit Kat banana caramel and red bean loaves that you won't get anywhere else. I personally love the Pine Ame Sakura candy, which is made exclusively for Tokyo Treat subscribers. So check out the link in the description box and use code VINI to get $5 off your first box. I guarantee you won't regret spending a cent on this super good deal. And just like that, let's start things off fast and furious with Hohenheim.
俺の息子をバカにするな。
Fans of Full Metal Alchemist will know how big of a badass Hohenheim is. Without further knowledge, we wouldn't think much of this guy, but I just admire the swagger Hohenheim carried when he set out his and Al's plan to seal Pride, which is ironic because throughout the scene, he stays so composed. Despite being a man with little pride, Hohenheim is one who easily shows off his mettle in more subtle ways. That's simply his style to never overdo things with his power. Best moment for me is how he doesn't flinch at Pride's attack. The biggest way to flex your superiority is to just stay in line of an attack that you know won't reach you head on, right? Really, who does Pride think he is with picking his opponent? Then again, he really is Pride, so it's a mildly assuming turn of events. Knowing how things in FMA turn out, I'm pretty sure this battle and what I just said are all planned and intentional. Isshin takes the next spot on the list. For most of Bleach, we didn't know much about who Isshin is. He's just the annoying Kurosaki dad who pisses Ichigo and Karin off. However, when push comes to shove, he doesn't hesitate in showing off his true capabilities. It's something Grand Fisher finds out the hard way. It's funny because Grand Fisher comes out acting all arrogant. The villain was so confident in his own abilities just because he got a new evolution. Well, it sucks for him that he had to run into one of the stronger characters in the show, and that's no exaggeration. Isshin utterly wipes the floor with Grand Fisher, destroying him in a span of a couple of seconds before leaving with some choice words of his own. Beware the goofy ones, as they say. Local comedic dad ends up being captain level all this time, and I found it interesting that Grand Fisher never got his rematch with Ichigo. It's Daddy who finishes the job avenging Masaki. Endeavor versus Nomu is my next pick. Pleasant may not be the best description for someone like Endeavor. He's not winning any Dad of the Year awards with his attitude, but you'll be a fool to bet against him in combat. Why else do you think Todoroki feels so much pressure and hatred towards his dad, if not for his dad to be second only to All Might? If you're gonna ask me to pick just one Endeavor moment to show how strong he is, look no further than the fight against Nomu. It's as fiery and intense as Endeavor is, and for me, the most badass moment in the fight comes in how he unleashes everything on the high-end Nomu, overcoming even its regeneration. It's such a treat watching him talk about beating the Nomu so bad that it can't even regenerate itself in time before getting burned in an almighty inferno. This fight also doubles as a redemption moment for him, so that's something to take note of as well. The scene surrounding this humanized Endeavor in so many ways, and I didn't expect to be so emotional watching him to go to work. But here we are, remembering this as one of the greatest highlights of Endeavor, not just for the intensity, but for the emotions it made us feel. Endeavor is no All Might, but we all get that. He is a more than fitting successor though, and the way in which he dispatched this Nomu is testament to that. Luffy has one big case of disappeared dad syndrome. At least his dad isn't dead. He's just there, roaming around and leading the Revolutionary Army, a story that I wouldn't mind seeing more of. However, he does come in clutch a lot of times. The first time we see him take part directly in the story, we see him stopping Smoker from harming his son. It's such a simple act, but it's made all the better with the presentation. The thunder, the ominous atmosphere, the way they revealed him. You know, Dragon means business with how he just walks in, grabs Smoker's weapon like that, and summons a freaking storm to save Luffy. Dragon isn't one for spectacle or lots of shouting like Endeavor a while ago. Still, that doesn't shave off any points in his badass score. It takes a lot to be the leader of the revolutionaries, and everything we need to know about Dragon is driven home in so little time.
男の船出を邪魔する理由がどこにある?
It's been a while since I talked about Gintama, so I want to feature Umibozu versus Kamui. Umibozu and Kamui have quite the thorny history. Remember, this is a son who literally tried to kill his dad for power, so I mean that's quite hardcore, I have to say. Estranged since then, the two have had another run-in as members of opposing forces in the Rakuyo decisive battle arc. Kamui sure knew how to make an entrance here, slicing Shirei into two just like that. However, Kamui is truly a fool to think that those theatrics could phase his father. Even after slicing off the mountain and coming at him with the humongous sword, Kamui still fails to land a decisive blow. Turns out, his old man still got it, and in what should have been Kamui's showcase of power to his dad, it's the dad who shatters the sword, seizing the moment and turning it into his showcase of power. Talk about a sudden momentum shift. Kamui tried going all fancy with his entrance and his feats of strength, only to have everything turned against him. It's so great to watch. The succeeding fight featuring Kagura only serves to up the ante. Yusuke vs Raizen is next, showing us that dad versus son fights have always been one of the staples in anime. Raizen is by far the strongest fighter in the whole of Yu Yu Hakusho. There is no other way around it, honestly speaking. For all that the protagonists have fought and overcome in the entire run of the show until now, Yusuke still finds himself demolished by Raizen when they finally had a chance to fight. The insane part about this is that Raizen wasn't even at full strength. They fought in such a one-sided affair, but the Raizen that Yusuke fought never showed his true power. That's a flex if I'd ever seen one, but it's not like Raizen was intentionally holding back to show off against his son. He legit couldn't fight at full strength at that point in the story for reasons that the story soon reveals. It still makes one wonder what full strength Raizen could have been like, or how much more one-sided the resulting fight would have been. This won't be the end of the dads who have power that far eclipses their sons. No, definitely not. And I hope you can already guess who else is going to be at the end of this list. Minato versus Killer Bee and Raikage is a showdown that isn't talked about enough. We take a journey back to the past for this one, to a time when Minato was alive and well and at his peak. Sometime before the start of the story, Minato had a run-in with both Raikage and a very young Killer Bee. The two forces recognized each other and knew not to take each other lightly, but we all know that Raikage doesn't back down from a fight. What followed was an exchange of blitzes. On paper, Raikage and Killer Bee could have the advantage due to the numbers game, but Minato is just that good, just that ahead, and just that much better in reflexes. He made the two look completely inferior despite them being capable fighters. Minato came ready for a 2-on-1, and after the exchange of blows, he sure came out looking better. The series hammers it home that Minato is the way superior fighter. While there's an argument of Minato not legitimately winning due to not killing A or something, I don't think that those arguments hold more weight to what the show spoon feeds us with. Lastly, we close the list with Yujiro versus 100 Cops. Did you guess it right a few moments ago? Indeed, we have the almighty Yujiro gracing us with his presence atop the list. A monster of a man that Baki aims to beat, Yujiro has had a lot of showcases of strength in the Baki anime. You could point to his numerous fights, none of which gave him any threat of losing, by the way. For the list, I think that Yujiro taking on 100 comps is simple and effective. 100-to-1 advantage is frankly a joke, considering this isn't the first time we've seen it. Berserk ringing any bells? Yeah, what about that? Still, it doesn't stop making the one-man army look completely overpowered. Here, Yujiro easily dispatches every cop in sight using nothing but his bare-handed combat. No guns, no powers, nothing else needed but his sheer unmatched power in terms of combat. This is the guy that Baki aims to surpass? Good luck, champ, you're gonna need it. And that wraps up the list of dads showcasing their power. Once again, if you like what you're seeing, then make sure to use that thumbs up and subscribe button. We'll have more videos coming up, and you'll want to be the first in line for those. So if you haven't had enough already, feel free to check out the channel or the ViniiTube Discord. Links to those, as well as social media sites such as Instagram and Patreon, are all in the description box. Don't forget to check out our sponsors of this video, monthly Japanese snack subscription boxes Tokyo Treat and Sakurako. Links are in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll be back for more. Thanks for watching.